Hey guys, welcome to Denny's. Today we're going to be jumping into the weekly loot cave for the week of December the 31st all the way until January the 6th. Now, this week is a solid week. We've got a lot of really good farms, mainly for Freyna and Bunny. Pretty insane ones, to be honest. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like if it helped you out. Comment any feedback you got for me. Subscribe if you feel that I've earned it. Check me out on Twitch. I would love to see you guys there. We're also live on YouTube. We'll be live right after this video goes live, so definitely would love to see you guys there. Let's jump into the weekly loot cave. All right, so first reactor we're going to be speaking about is going to be Bunny's reactor. This is going to be available from the hatchery in White Knight Gulch. Now, this is a new addition to the missions. This is really going to be up in the air if a lot of people want to farm this week because it is utilizing the Freyna abort mission cheese. The farm has not been patched, and it is still a very good farm. It's a little bit better than a Valby farm where you go in circles, but instead you're kind of rolling in and out and aborting the mission. I have the mission in the background. If you guys want to know how to do it specifically, I have a whole video going over that. I'll link that in the description below if you guys want to do this farm. You will be able to get probably your Bunny God roll this week if you do this mission. However, it is extremely boring and extremely cheesy and arguably not very fun, but it is the most efficient way to get a Bunny reactor this week, and it's pretty much the most efficient way to get reactors in general right now until they make changes. Any outpost that has this capability usually is pretty good. Some aren't really good at all, but this one is a good example of one that works out pretty well just because of the density in a small area. So for Bunny, really I'm not going to recommend any rolls for Bunny this week because it is so different compared to a lot of what people say. I would say Electric Singular is just a solid all-rounder, and then up to other than that, it's up to you guys to decide what you want on your Bunny and how you're building her. I will have an updated Bunny build video out this week as well, but yeah, solid week for Bunny all around. Now, if you want a Sharen reactor this week, there is going to be one available in the Destruction in Kingston. This mission is an extermination mission. It's relatively quick and you get a lot of reactors. Normally, I wouldn't include missions like this, but it is pretty quick, and Sharen is a pretty sought after Descendant right now, so I wanted to make sure to include Sharen this week. As far as rolls, fusion boost and cooldown, or crit damage and cooldown would be really good for mobbing, and then Colossus damage and crit damage would be really good for bossing, and that is what I'm going to leave it at for Sharen. Again, not the best mission ever for Sharen, but if you're looking to get a Sharen reactor this week, it's definitely not bad at all. It's very quick and it's an extermination mission, so you can get a ton of kills in a very short amount of time. And obviously Sharen being just a really solid Descendant right now, I imagine a lot of people are going to want to get this. There is another one available from a different zone, but I don't recommend it. It's in Hagios in the Corrupted Zone. So yeah, not the best week for Sharen, but a decent one nonetheless. All right, and then next up, the only Fire Descendant on the list this week. Unfortunately, Blair does not have a good reactor farm, but this is going to be for Lepic and Esiemo, available from the Misty Woods. Going to be the extermination mission on screen there. This is Fire Tech, obviously. Now, again, it is an extermination mission. It's not like a Valby Outpost farm or one of the crazy missions, but it's still a very good mission to get your Lepic and Esiemo reactor. And obviously, they're both very good Descendants, and I want to make sure to include them. As far as rolls for Lepic, it's pretty much a crit damage or tech boost mixed with any combination of what you want, you know, cooldown, boss damage. You're going to do really well with cooldown on Lepic because it obviously helps his third ability and first ability quite substantially, and then obviously his ultimate if you're trying to run him a lot. For Esiemo, more or less just tech boost, fire boost for mobbing, and then tech boost and Colossus damage if you're trying to boss with Esiemo. Obviously there's better Descendants now for bossing and mobbing, but I want to make sure to include these Descendants just because I feel like every Descendant is going to have a chance at some point. It's going to be good to have a God roll reactor, especially after the buffs to farming reactors. I think it's going to be really good to have a reactor for these guys. So good week for those two. Not the best, it's like mid-tier, but still a solid week. All right, and then the next one we're going to talk about is for Freyna. So Freyna has a really good week this week. This is going to be the converter facility in Fortress. So it is going to be a Valby outpost farm. Now, in my experience, this outpost is not very good with the Freyna cheesy farm. I did try it a little bit, and it just doesn't work amazing. I wouldn't recommend it just because there's not enough mob spawning quick enough to get enough reactors to drop. The best way to do this is just going in a circle with Valby. If you want a toxic tech reactor, in my opinion, this is going to be the best way to get it this week. So converter facility, Valby outpost, and then as far as Freyna, tech boost and cooldown for mobbing is what I go for, and then tech boost and Colossus damage is what I go for as far as the bossing reactor. But yeah, that's it for Freyna this week. It's a solid week, a very good week because it's a Valby outpost farm. You're going to get a ton of reactors, obviously. So if you still need one for Freyna, here you go. Converter facility Fortress is going to be the one that you do this week. All right, and then as far as the Converter Facility in Fortress, I wanted to tack on the static drop is Chill Singular here. So this is going to be for Hailey and Viessa. So if you're looking to get a Hailey and Viessa farm or reactor, this is the best farm this week. There's not a better farm than this. So you can go for it at the same time as going for your Toxic Tech Freyna reactor. And keep in mind that there is more reactors that will drop for the weekly rotation than the static rotation or static reactors. So keep that in mind. You're going to get more Freyna reactors. However, you're still going to get a ton of chill and singular reactors. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, as far as Viessa and Hailey, you can pretty much go for singular boost and Colossus damage or crit damage, Colossus damage, as well as singular boost and crit damage for mobbing. Pretty straightforward. But that is going to be for Hailey and Viessa because, again, there's no better mission. And again, I wanted to make sure to include Keelan. So this week, available from the mountaintops inside of the White Knight Gulch. This is going to be Toxic Singular. It's not incredible, but you're going to be able to get blue brains at the same time. Yes, there's better ways to farm blue brains. However, 2 for 1 is not always a bad idea. Efficient farms win. So what I would recommend going for is probably like singular and cooldown boost, or if you're trying to do the mobile strike build, you can do cooldown and range. That's what I found to be the best because you need that little bit of extra range for that build. But overall, a good week for Keelan, but nothing crazy. Obviously, the borderline of truth, you know, everybody's used to it. It's pretty lackluster as far as reactor drops, but if you're trying to get one for Keelan, there you go. Again, you'll also get the blue brain drop, so not terrible at all. Solid week for Keelan. There will be better, though, in the future. Keep that in mind. All right, now this one's going to be for Gley, Jayber, Valby, etc. Non-attribute dimension available from Moonlight Lake in the Vespers. Now, I'm showing the mission on screen as the Extermination mission. It is the best mission as far as reactor drops. However, if you guys want to do the cheesy, you know, boring Freyna farm from the outpost here, be my guest. I already showed footage of the bunny farm this week, so if you guys want to know how to do that, it's the same thing but for this outpost. I also have a video going over this outpost. So you're gonna get your non-attribute dimension reactor, as well as for the Vespers Moonlight Lake, you're also going to be getting Electric Dimension. Electric Dimension is the static drop there, so you'll get a non-attribute dimension and Electric Dimension. Now, the mission here is solid, but I do want to emphasize that the mission that you can do at the outpost will net you a substantial amount more, just a ridiculous amount of reactors compared to this mission. So yeah, but as far as rolls, non-attribute dimension, there's too many Descendants to really go over the guaranteed rolls, so I'll throw some general ones up on screen, but keep in mind that there's too many Descendants to really do a whole amount of rolls for it. It's really going to depend on what builds you guys want to go for, but dimension boost and non-attribute boost is always a good all-rounder, and then obviously cooldown and dimension boost or Colossus damage and dimension boost are really good choices as well, just generally speaking. But yeah, good week for these guys if you want to do the boring farm, but a decent week, and not the best if you want to do that, if you don't want to do the farm, the boring farm. All right, I want to quickly go over the non-attribute tech one. It's available weekly from the forward base. However, this is not the best place to farm it. So for Kyle, Ajax, you're going to want to head to Abandoned Zone, Echo Swamp. Obviously, the Extermination mission, everyone knows so well. You get a ton of reactors from this mission, just a ton of mobs. It's a very famous mission. It is the static drop. You are not going to be getting a whole ton compared to when it's a weekly drop. However, it's still better, still ends up being better than the any mission that's available this week for non-attribute and tech. And then as far as Ajax, cooldown and tech boost, as well as that'll work for Kyle. And then as far as bossing, obviously tech boost and Colossus damage. But yeah, Electric Dimension is dropping here for the weekly rotation, but nothing crazy this week. Solid week for Ajax and Kyle. That's pretty much been the weekly loot cave this week, guys. I seriously appreciate you for making it this long. I do want to hear from you guys, though. Do you think it's a solid week this week as far as the available farms, I guess you would say? There's a lot of farms that are taken over by static farms for Descendants just because there's not good ones for them. But yeah, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is it a good week, bad week? How are you guys preparing for season 3? I'm genuinely curious. I want to know what you guys are doing, see if I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, check me out on Twitch. Don't forget to join the Discord down below. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, week, wherever you're at. Happy holidays, happy New Year, and yeah, here's to a great start hopefully for the new year. And peace out, guys. Hope you have a good one. Goodbye.